This week, we're doing part two on our little mini series that's teaching strategies to use at home. These are strategies that we have used or have seen used in schools that also really work great in other settings. We're going to talk about the idea of win win choices. Most humans crave autonomy and choice, and some of us crave it more than others, but it's something that we pretty universally enjoy, at least to some extent. And these win win choices are a way for us to make choice a regular part of our day so that we can make tasks and schedules and things like that that need to happen a little easier.
Yeah, so let's get into it. What are win-win choices? How do we create win-win choices? And how can we use them in our homes with our neurodivergent kids?
Welcome to Parenting Neurodivergent Humans. I'm Dr. Morgan Beidelman. I'm a psychologist, former teacher, parent to two kids, one of whom is neurodivergent, and I am neurodivergent myself.
And I'm Brianne Colpitz. I'm a school psychologist, parent to two neurodivergent kids, and I'm ADHD, which means I'm autistic and have ADHD.
Win win choices are a super common teaching strategy. It is a strategy that's taught to teachers both in their teaching programs as well as in their student teaching. And it makes a lot of sense as a strategy to use because if you think about it in a classroom setting that's often old school teacher directed, there is not a lot of freedom and choice in that. And this win win strategy builds some of that into it and takes an environment that can often be thought of as really rigid and make it just a little bit more autonomous. And so, using that same idea, we can apply to our homes and other areas as well. Just a note that I want to say here is that you might hear strategies like choose, and that's not what we're really talking about here. Choose is like you give two very specific choices, like you can walk to the carpet or you can crawl to the carpet,
Mm,
right?
yeah, like love and logic type situation. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and that's actually not what we're talking about here. Kids will sniff that out, like, pretty
Mm,
quickly,
mm-hmm.
and they'll be like, "I'm not doing that choice." This is really kind of like building in as much authentic choice as we can, where we can, so that there is really options for our kids.
Right. We're talking about a real choice, not
Yeah.
a, hey, I need you to do this thing. Do you want to do it your way or my way? This is, yeah, an actual choice.
Yeah, it's also really easy to misuse that, like, choose strategy, like, especially if you're getting irritated, and I'll often hear individuals be like, "Choose to clean your room or choose to miss out on something or other," right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
that's not actually how we wanna use that.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So it sounds simple, but it's a little bit more nuanced, as we're saying. It's like, okay, choices, but we want to give you some more detail about what this means because yeah, this isn't about manipulating your kid. All right. So the key here is that you need to be okay with every choice you give, and this often takes practice. You got to learn that. It sounds obvious, but we don't want to give a choice that doesn't really exist
Mhm.
or a choice you don't want them to pick. So, yeah, because spoiler alert, they're going to pick the thing you don't want them to pick. So, if you say to your kid, "Are you ready to go to school?" You better be like ready for them to give a yes or no answer, and they might say no. So that's not exactly the right or, the recommended method. You probably mean like, "Hey, let's go," or "Do you have everything?" But you said, "Are you ready to go to school?" So your kid heard that they have a choice. If they're anything like my kids, and today was a day, let me tell you, they're going to say no and sit down on the couch and, get out Roblox. So that's not exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, the other day I said something like, "Hey, are you ready to get started?" The kid was like, "Nope." I was like, "Okay, yeah."
Oh, yep. Okay. I guess we're waiting then. Yeah.
I was like, "Sure, do you," and so then I had to pivot and I was like, "Do you want like 1, 2, 3 more minutes? What are we thinking here?"
Right. Yeah. Right.
'Cause
Yes.
what I really meant was, "Let's get started,"
Right.
but framed it as a choice and
Right. So as we said, this takes practice. All right.
yeah, a lifetime.
Yeah.
We often will do this and we're saying it and we're saying it in that way because we're not trying to sound bossy, right? Like
Right. Yep.
that's what I was trying to say with this kid is I'm trying to be like, "Hey, like, do you wanna get started?" But that doesn't work. Like the clarity is actually really, really helpful. And especially if you're working with or you're a parent of a kid who craves the autonomy, then you are really also in this space where you're trying to avoid being too directive and being like,
Mhm.
let's get started right now, because that person is going to kind of like, buck against that.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, exactly. And so then offering a choice that doesn't really exist is also a problem. So, yeah, what am I trying to say here? So it's like the other thing it makes me think of is when as an adult, right? Like you're like come into a meeting and your boss is like, "Okay, do we want to get started?" you know? And
Yeah, Beidelman, you're up first.
yeah, and you're
You
like,
wanna go first?
I don't even wanna do the meeting. You asked me
Right.
if I wanted to. But turns out that, like, saying no to my boss and not sitting down is probably not actually an option,
Yeah,
right?
not a real choice a lot
Yeah,
of the times.
yeah, and but that nuance in language can be really confusing, especially for, like, some of our neurodivergent types, right? That they are gonna hear it as a choice because it was actually stated as a choice, even though it isn't a choice.
Right. So choice is a good parenting strategy. It's just the key is to think about the choices we're giving and how we're wording them to make sure that they are a win-win choice. So something that you can live with, something the kid can
Mhm.
live with, sorry. So they result in the thing happening. A win-win choice results in the thing happening that you are hoping to happen, and often even create some forward momentum because they are excited about whatever the thing is. So some win-win choices for leaving for school might look like, are you going to ride your scooter or your bike today? What
Mhm.
song do you want to listen to in the car? Are you having strawberry or blueberry breakfast bar in the car today? So those are choices that your kid probably cares about, right? Like they're excited to listen to the certain song or get whatever, like flavor of breakfast bar they want. But those are things you probably don't care at all or much about either way, like as long as the thing gets done. You want your humans to leave the house now and preferably without a meltdown. Some days are better than others. So those examples are targeted.